This little board can scan every Wi-Fi networks around you, spam Bluetooth, turn off any TV in the room, clone RFID cards, capture Sub-GHz signal, and log GPS tag war derived data, all from a device that fits in your pocket. In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything. The different ways to flash the firmware, the hardware, every feature this thing is capable of, and where the project is headed next. Let's start with the hardware, what you're actually holding. ESP32-DIV comes in 3 supported configurations. Version 1 is the original, compact, all-in-one, good for getting started, and it uses ESP32. Version 2 is the current main board, better layout, reliable, more compact than version 1, and it uses ESP32S3. And then there is the CYD, or chip yellow display. It's a pre-made ESP32 development board with a built-in touchscreen. If you want to try the ESP32D firmware without building your own hardware, the CYD is the easiest entry point. The main board is built around the ESP32 and ESP32S3. That's the core chip handling all the processing, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's a powerful dual-core processor with plenty of resources for everything DIV needs to do. On the front, you have the TFT display with a touch controller. That's your interface for everything. The IP5306 chip handles battery charging and protection. The CP2102 gives you USB to serial for flashing and debugging. The PCF8574 is an I/O expander that handles the physical buttons. And there are WS2812 NoPixel LEDs for status feedback. The shield, which connects underneath, adds RF hardware. 3 NRF24 modules for 2.4 GHz work, a CC1101 for sub-GHz, and IR transceiver for capturing and replaying remote control signals. Of course, in the new hardware revision, I added the PN532 module for RFID and NFC, and the NO6M module for GPS. The new shield design comes in 2 versions. The first one is straightforward. You just solder the module in place, and the files are already up on GitHub. The second one I'm still working on, and it's more complex, but it's going to open the door for a lot of new features that can be added to the ESP32-DIV down the line. On the main board you have 4 physical buttons which help you navigate throughout the menus. Of course, I have to mention that in the new firmware update I added full touch control, so if you are using CYD, you have nothing to worry about. If you want to build your own, the Gerber files are already in the GitHub repo. Just download them and you're ready to order. I use NextPCB for this. Go to nextpcb.com, click Instant Quote, and upload the Gerber zip straight from the repo. The default setting works fine. 1.6mm, whatever color you want, add to the card and you're done. This video is sponsored by NextPCB. If you're working on a custom hardware project, NextPCB is a solid choice for PCB manufacturing. They offer high quality boards, fast production times, and support for everything from simple prototype to advanced multi-layer designs. Check them out through the link in the description, and thanks for the NextPCB for supporting the channel. Now let's get the firmware on the board. I'll walk you through every method. Let's start with the first one and only move to the next if something doesn't work. The easiest way, and the one I recommend for everyone, is the Web Flasher. No installs, no drivers, just a browser. Open Chrome or Edge and go to CiferTech GitHub.io ESP32-DIV. You'll see the project page with 3D models, information about the ESP32-DIV, and a flash button. Plug your ESP32-DIV into your computer with a USB cable, and this matters. It has to be a data cable, not a charge-only cable. That's the #1 reason people can't get this working. If it's not detecting, swap the cable first. Select your board version, version 1, version 2, or CYD. Click Flash. The browser will ask you to select a serial port. Pick one that says CP2102, CH340, or USB serial. Watch the progress bar. About 30 or 60 seconds later, the board reboots and the display turns on. And that's it. If no port shows up in the list, on the Windows install the CH340 or CP2102 driver. On macOS, you may need to allow it in security and privacy. On Linux, run this command and log out and back in. If it still says fail to connect, hold the boot button on the board while clicking flash, then release it once the connection starts. The second option is the ESP32-DIV Desktop Flasher, a Python GUI app built specifically for this project. It runs on Windows, uses ESP tool under the hood, and wraps everything in a clean interface so you never have to touch the terminal. Download it from the GitHub repo and run ESP32-DIV Flasher.bat on Windows. If you want to run it manually, install the dependencies first with pip install-r requirements.txt. Then run python flashdiv.py. On the left you have connection and firmware setting, on the right a live activity log. First select your port from the drop-down and hit refresh. Next, pick your board preset, ESP32S3 for version 2 or ESP32 for version 1 and CYD. For firmware source, you have two tabs. The Toolbox tab is the easiest. Hit refresh list and it pulls every release directly from GitHub. Select the version you want, click download, and it saves the binary file automatically. If you already have a binary file locally, just hit browse and point it at the file. The local export tab is for if you compile from Arduino IDE. Point it at the folder with all 4 binary files. Before you flash, check erase entire flash before write if this is a first install or you are coming from a corrupted state. Leave it unchecked for a normal update. Hit flash firmware and watch the activity log. It shows every ESP2 line in real time, connecting, writing, verifying. Green means success, red means something went wrong. When the log shows done with the exit code 0, press reset on the board and you're running the new firmware. If you want to modify or compile from source, Arduino IDE works, but the setup is longer than the other methods. The full step-by-step is in the GitHub wiki, and here's the short version. Install Arduino IDE and add ESP32 board package version 2.0.1 specifically. Then there are two critical file replacements that most people miss. First, download the platform.txt from the repos/file folder and replace the one in your Arduino 15 ESP32 package directory. The path is different on Windows, macOS, and Linux. The wiki has the exact location for each. Second, copy the libraries folder from the repo into your Arduino library directory, replacing the existing ones. These are custom versions. Don't use the one from the Arduino library manager. They won't work correctly with DIV. Then in Arduino IDE from Tools menu, select ESP32S3 dev module as your board. Set partition scheme to minimal, select your port and hit upload. If it doesn't connect automatically, hold boot, press reset, then release. That puts it in download mode. Full details are in the wiki if anything goes wrong. In the last videos, I explained every feature, so I will not take too much time on them here. And a detailed explanation for every feature exists in the ESP32-DIV GitHub wiki. On the Wi-Fi side, Packet Monitor gives you a live waterfall graph of wireless traffic across all 14 channels. Wi-Fi Scanner lists every nearby network with signal strength and encryption type. Beacon Spammer floods the air with fake access points. DIV sends disconnect frames to kick client off a network. DIV Detector flips that around. It watches for DIV and suspicious activities happening near you. Captive Portal clones a real network and serves a fake login page to anyone who connects. And Probe Flood hammers access point with probe requests to stress test them. On the Bluetooth side, BLE Scanner discovers hidden and visible BLE devices around you. BLE sniffer tracks MAC addresses, signal strength, and packet count over time. BLE spoofer broadcasts fake BLE advertisements. Sour Apple targets Apple devices with airdrop-style pop-ups. BLE Jammer disrupts both BLE and classic Bluetooth. And BLE Rubber Ducky. The board acts as a Bluetooth keyboard and types out a script you load from the SD card. For 2.4 GHz, the spectrum analyzer shows live activity across all 128 channels. Wi-Fi, Zigbee, custom RF, all of it. Protokill disrupts Zigbee, Wi-Fi, and other 2.4 GHz protocol on demand. Sub-GHz. Replay attack captures signal from garage doors, remotes, key fobs, anything sub-GHz, and replay them. Sub-GHz jammer disrupts sub-GHz communication across various bands. And save profiles, store and manages your captured signal on the SD card. IR features. IR replay captures a signal from any remote, visualizes it on screen and lets you replay it. IR save profiles let you browse and load your captures later. Universal IR controller has built-in brand profiles, SD card imports, and a remote-style interface for controlling TVs and AV equipments. RFID and NFC. Card reader reads the UID and tag info from any supported card. Card clone copies writable tags. Decode access interprets the access bits from a card dump. Erase wipes a writable tag clean. Jam reader disrupts a nearby RFID reader. And tag disrupt and disrupt emulate are advanced flows for physical security testing. GPS features. VAR driver logs your GPS position alongside Wi-Fi and BLE scan results to the SD card in Wiggle format. Satellite scanner shows satellites in view, signal strength per satellite, and fixed diagnostics. And finally, the system tools. SD File Manager lets you browse and manage your files from the device itself. Touch Calibrate recalibrates the touchscreen if tabs start filling off. And Settings covers brightness, light and dark theme, no pixel behavior, background scanning, and also you can choose the accent color of your ESP32-DIV. ESP32-DIV started as a personal project and grew into something I didn't expect. People are selling it, building their own version, and honestly, some just grab the code and call it their own. But the real community, the people opening PRs, reporting bugs, and actually contributing, that's what keeps this project moving forward.